Hey, what's up, everybody? Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Let There Be Talk. Today is Monday, June 26th, and I'm coming to you from New York City. This episode is brought to you by my fantastic motorcycle sponsor, El Cajon Harley. El Cajon Harley, the finest motorcycle shop in America. You want to get a motorcycle, go nowhere else except El Cajon Harley. They've been sponsoring this podcast for 1 year. They are the official motorcycle sponsor for Let There Be Talk and official super dealer. I love these guys. Go in and get yourself two wheels. It's summertime, and it's time to ride across America and find yourself. Quit that job, get out there and find out who you are. Go hiking, backpacking, travel across the world on your two wheels like those guys did on that Ewan McGregor. Remember that? Yeah, go out there and just ride, you and a buddy, or just you solo so you don't hear any whining. Like, pull over, I gotta piss. I need gas. Hey, it's cold. I should have put on my sweater. None of that shit. Ride solo. Go out there and find out who you are. Maybe get yourself a big bagger with a windshield and cruise control and heated seat and heated grips. Be a grandpa like myself on your motorcycle. Get all the luxury. Don't listen to those dudes. Be like, dude, you got to go with no shocks, hardtail. Fuck all that, man. Get yourself a nice brand new motorcycle that's fun to ride and comfortable, and hit it, get it at El Cajon Harley. Hit up my boy Greg Riley right now. They can get you financed. They got all kinds of great bikes. They got new and used bikes. They got a great service department. Put some new rubber on your bike, mate. Put some new rubber on your bike. All right, El Cajon Harley, mate. Get yourself a machine. Also, episode is brought to you by the great Earthquaker devices. You know and love them. You play guitar like my guest today, Nita Strauss. You're going to need yourself a stomp box. Stomp boxes make you sound cool. They make your guitar sound cool. Also, you know, these stomp boxes are bulletproof. If you're out touring, don't get any kind of that junky material, that stuff that breaks down when you stomp on it. Get a Earthquaker device. Get yourself a handmade boutique stomp pedal. Hit them up, earthquakerdevices.com, or check them out on Instagram with their awesome display of pedals, and Facebook, all that stuff. Out of Akron, Ohio. Tell them I sent you. Earthquaker Devices, best stomp boxes in the world. All right, yes, you heard it. My guest today is Nita Strauss. She returns and talks all about her brand new all-female heavy metal group, We Start Wars. They got a brand new single out right now, which you just heard here a little bit at the top of the show, called The Animal Inside. And I saw this band, their first gig, and it was pretty cool at the Whiskey. You're going to want to catch this band or catch her with Alice Cooper all summer. She is a shredder on the six string, man. No doubt about it. Can play the shit out of the guitar, and a great guest on here. Ran into her out in Columbus, Ohio, where she was playing the national anthem on the six stringer. And she stops by and talks all about how she put together the brand new band, We Start Wars. And what a great episode. Thanks for everybody tuning in lately, man. The show numbers have been through the roof. And I just thank all you guys for your emails and your tweets and your love out there. I want to thank a few people for some fantastic donations. Let's get into that right now. Some great stuff. What do we have here? I had it. Here it is. Chub Tone Guitars donated. Man, that's so cool. Little thing he wrote here. Hope you're doing well. We got a small donation for you today at Chub Tones. Your show is played in the shop most work days, so consider you part of the team. your interview with Gabriel last week was so funny and truthful. Awesome, man. Thank you guys. Chub Tone Guitars. Make sure you check out their axes. And also, what else we got here? We had some other great stuff. Let me find it because I've always got it together. Jay Sararia, I'm fucking that name up. And then, of course, Jeep came in. Jeremy Mowden. Get some real last names, will you guys? Come on, get like Jim Smith. Where's the last name? Anyway, thank you guys for the donations. If you want to donate, it's patreon.com/Dean Del Rey. I love all you guys. I'm in New York City this week and just getting my New York shows going on. Boston, I'll see you this Thursday. Come see me headline one night only, the 29th, at the Nick's Comedy Spot. Now, don't say I'll catch you next time because I'm only here once, and I've been doing comedy 7 years, and I have not been to Boston yet. So it doesn't look like I'll be getting back there anytime soon again. And all of New York, I'll be at the Stand all this week. And what else do I got going? Oh, July 7 and 8, Vegas South Point Casino with Joey Diaz. July 14, 15 with Bill Burr at Grand Rapids, Michigan. This just in, July 16th. One show only in Detroit at Smalls. Get tickets right now. The links are in my Twitter and Facebook feeds. And what else do we got? A bunch of other good stuff. Toronto, July 28, 29. August, this is cool. August 10th through the 12th, I'll be at San Francisco Punchline with Joey Diaz. Those are the shows coming up. Like I said, Boston this Thursday. Do not sleep. Hope everybody's doing good. I love you guys. I'm in New York City. I saw the Dead and Company over the weekend. That was pretty awesome. Thank you, Sharuki, for the hookup. Oh, my God. Awesome. I got to tell you, I was at the new Shea Stadium. I know they don't call it that, but I just call all the parks by their old name. That's why Candlestick is always going to be Candlestick. I couldn't tell you what the fuck it was called after that. Pac Bell is always going to be Pac Bell Park in San Fran, even though I think it's AT&T. Fuck all those dumb sponsor names. I was saying something like, I've never been sitting in a stadium and went, oh, Pac Bell Park. You know what? I should join up with Pac Bell, man. I should get me an AT&T phone. You know what? I really need to get a Snicker bar. This is Snicker Bar Stadium. It's like fucking, what a waste of money, man. That's more like a company ego. It's like, check out our stadium. Yeah, Pac Bell Park. That's ours. Anyway, I was at Shea Stadium, the new one, seeing the Dead and Co., which I just fucking love New York because I got on the subway, rode it to Shea Stadium, got off, walked right down the stairs, and I was at the stadium, man. No cars, no fucking $35 parking, no people just fucking passed out in their car, like, you know, you're trying to move and they're just out cold. No traffic is what I'm saying. Just walked right in to the stadium. I got in there and I realized something. The new ballpark is beautiful. And I've been to most of the ballparks, most of the across America, a lot of the ballparks over my years, and I've seen a lot of the new ones. And one thing I noticed, and it hit me at Shea 2. I call it Shea 2. Here we are, Shea 2. One thing that hit me, I was talking to Ian on the phone while I was in there, and I was like, if someone knocked me out and put me in there and said, where were you? And I opened my eyes, I would say, oh, I'm at Pac Bell. And I would have fucking been wrong. Because the guy that's designing all the baseball stadiums, they're beautiful, but now they're all starting to look exactly the same, which is fucking weird. They all have that same guy designing them. If you look at it, it's like Petco Park in San Diego, Hershey, Shea, Pac Bell in San Francisco, Where else was I? They're all this guy, and they're beautiful. I'm not knocking them, but each city doesn't seem to have their own flavor now. You know, like before, that was the cool thing about baseball. One park would be way too fucking big, couldn't hit home runs. Another park would be like way too small, 1,000,000 home runs. One park would have some kind of weird back opening where the wind blew weird and they couldn't catch the ball. Just all these different personalities. And now they're all beautiful, but they're starting to feel a little bit fucking stale, like the samey. So that was just my only takeaway from Shea Stadium. Great people at the show. Shout out to the shitty cigarette smokers in the crowd. Yeah, thanks. That's me being 51. Just fucking sitting in my seat. Some lady like 90 smoking cigarettes. I'm like, shouldn't you be dead by now? Like, how do you smoke and still alive at 90? Hilarious, man. But anyway, the Dead were incredible. Dead and Co. John Mayer. Everybody keeps asking me, what about John Mayer? Yeah, I wasn't down for it at first either. But man, he's killing it. And I got to tell you something. One thing I really take away from it, it doesn't matter who's on guitar. If you got a lot of the Dead guys up there and they're playing the music, you know, nice and loud, that's really what it's about these days. I just kind of need the music, and you know, that's how I look at it. It's crazy. So whoever's on guitar, and John Mayer, he's crushing it. I'd love to get him on the podcast. As I watch him, I got so many questions, you know. But yeah, somebody knows him out there. Let's hook it up. I want to talk to that guy about playing with the Dead, his equipment, everything. Anyway, they played some great shit I hadn't seen live. Got to see Birdsong live. Finally, I love it. Cold Rain and Snow. Let's see. What did they play I hadn't seen? Oh, Eyes of the World. Man, they killed it on that. The other one, Into Morning Dew. And then Touch of Grey. Yeah, the big hit. Some people don't need the big hit. I love that song. Anyway, thank you for that, New York City. It was awesome. Skankfest. I was part of that on Friday. Big J and Louis J. Gomez. What a killer thing they put together over there, man. Skankfest. That is just that's hard to do. Create your own scene and then start your own festival, a weekend over there at a Creek in the Cave, Cave in the Creek. I call it. One of them's right, one of them's wrong, but it was incredible. Brian Redband had a Death Squad show there. I was part of it, and we all had a great time. It was about 7,000 degrees with humidity all the way on 10, and just full-blown ball sweat. But awesome. I'm going to get into the guest right now. Before I do, Nita and I were talking about female bands. And we were naming a bunch of, not a bunch, but there's not a lot of female bands over the history of rock and roll, all female bands. And there was one that I forgot, and I wanted to mention on this podcast because I think they're absolutely fantastic, and I've seen them live opening for the Kills, and that's L.A. Witch. I talk about them a lot to people, but I don't think I've talked about them much on the podcast. So if you do not know L.A. Witch, do yourself a favor and check them out. They are fantastic, three-piece female band, and they kill it. If you're into like Brian Jonestown Massacre and that kind of like weird, jangly, psychedelic stuff, get with it right away, man. They got a pre-order on their record getting ready to come out. Looks like it's coming out September 8th. And a pre-order on iTunes, and they also have some, little EPs on iTunes. That also being said, Nita's We Start Wars has one song on iTunes right now, and they're working on their record. So you can hear that right now, like I said, on iTunes. called The Animal Inside. Let's get into the guest right here. The candles are lit. I love all you guys. I'm in New York City this week. Come see me. Here she is, Nita Strauss. All right. Here we are, another episode of Let There Be Talk. Fantastic guest. Introduce yourself.
I'm Nita Strauss, and I'm happy to be back.
The return. Yeah.
Once again.
I saw you at the Rock on the Range.
That's right. We watched Metallica together.
Yeah, that was out. You were out there playing the Star Spangled Banner.
That's right.
How did that happen?
Well, it was kind of a random coincidence. I was out with Alice Cooper, and we ended the Alice Cooper tour right there in Columbus, 5 minutes from the stadium. So the Monster Energy folks who are a sponsor of Rock on the Range, they just reached out and they said, hey, would you want to stay on a couple of days? It's Salute the Troops weekend. They do all that, the loudest month, the world's loudest month.
Yeah.
They've got Rock on the Range, Rocklahoma, and all this stuff. But this particular weekend was the Salute the Troops weekend. So they said, would you want to come and honor America and play the national anthem? And I said, hell yeah.
Yeah,
I would
cool.
love to do that.
And you were just at, you guys, Alice Cooper played like a couple days before we got there?
Yeah. It was, we played at that Express Live. Did you go see Stone Sour, the opening night?
Oh, no, that was Thursday night. Yeah, I didn't go.
That was the same venue we played.
Oh, I got you. And then, did you see Don Jameson and Jim Florentine?
We did. They were great.
Yeah.
Super funny. It's funny. It's always funny seeing comedy at a metal show.
Yeah.
Like, people never really know what to make of it. The set's kind of short. Like, by the time they kind of get people going, they're done. And
yeah, it's interesting. Like
how's your experience? You've had a lot of experience.
last year with Alice in Chains for 2 weeks.
How was it?
And it's good if the audience knows.
Right.
You know what I mean? But like with me on the first night, they just turn the lights out and we're like, all right, you're on. And then I go out and there, people are like, why is this roadie talking to us? You know
why
what
is
I mean?
this roadie out here telling jokes?
Yeah, exactly. It's kind of like that. Like, check. Hey, man. You're doing dick jokes.
What's up with Nickelback, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, man, that Rock on the Range was crazy. The weather was nuts.
It was nuts. It was super crazy. And I feel like I got the worst of it personally.
Yeah.
Because I was about to do, when they did that first evacuation, the first day, I was about to do the Star Spangled Banner. So I was actually on stage.
Yeah.
Like, nobody else was on stage except me at that time.
That's crazy,
and I was,
right?
And my set was a minute and a half long, So I was going like, I was ready to go. I had my pedal board set up. I had my amp set up. I had done my little check, chug, amps making sound, pedals making sound. And I said, okay, are we good? Are we doing this? And they said, hold on. No, you got to get your stuff off the stage right now.
Wow.
And I was like, what? Now? He said, yeah, no, we're about to head into a weather evacuation. I didn't really know what that meant.
Right.
I'm from California. So, the worst thing we have here is like some wind. It's like, oh, the Santa Anas are here.
Yep.
And they said, no, we're about to head into a weather evacuation. I said, okay, whatever. That means 10-minute delay or whatever. And then all of a sudden the sirens start going off and they sent everybody out. They evacuated 20, 30,000 people. And I'm standing on the stage with my boyfriend and my teddy bear going, okay, well, pack it up.
It's so weird, man. I guess a guy got hit by lightning there 2 years ago. A fireman,
years ago, yeah.
And, but man, I remember I was just sitting in the trailer interviewing Rival Sons, and then it was beautiful out. Like the sun was out. I was hanging outside, and then we come out, and it was pitch black.
Yep.
And we go, yeah, let's head on over to see Metallica. And we're walking, and then it just started pouring like giant, and then lightning.
Yeah. That was the Sunday, right?
Yep.
Yeah, that was Sunday.
Mid-Volbeat set, they had to shut down.
They shut the whole thing down, and and it passed fast too. Like, that first day, was it Friday, I think, the long evacuation? That was about 4 hours.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
They kicked everyone
and the
out
people just go out to their car.
They went out to their car, and then whoever took an Uber or whatever, there was like some shelter that everybody was in, and then all the bands and artists kind of like just, retreated to their tour buses, except for those of us like myself who were, like, I don't have my bus there or anything.
Yeah.
So we were kind of stuck. Their catering was closed. All the press tents and everything, because everyone's going, well, you know what? Let's just knock out some press. Let's do some interviews. We're all stuck here, but the press tents were all closed. Everything was all shut down. So I will say the company Danny Wimmer Presents that does those festivals, they did the best job. Like, this was not Firefest at all.
Yeah,
we were super well taken care of. They brought in ice cream and like
they were so great.
So great. Yeah.
I can't believe how friendly those people were, and everybody, and it was so set up great,
Absolutely. I mean, something that's not their fault, like this kind of weather, they handle it. So they ordered, I think, like 200 pizzas or something for the artists and crew back there. That first day that we were stuck for like 4 or 5 hours. They literally, I mean, like the pizzas started coming in the middle of the storm, no less. They're bringing in pizzas, piles and piles of pizzas, and we're like, all right. This is okay. Everyone kind of, bands and, label people and publicists and everybody kind of hanging out, just shooting the shit. And
yeah, it was great. Now, cool. They shut that. Why did I didn't understand why they shut down the press tent. Like, lightning's not going to shoot through the tent. I mean, I
think it was because it was an actual tent.
Yeah,
I think anything that was a canvas tent, like catering and
I probably could catch it on fire. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, and you don't want there's a lot of electronics in there. You know, if any place is going to get struck by lightning, it's probably the one with all the antennas.
It was rad, man. That venue was there were so many people there. I couldn't believe how packed it was. Did you see? Who'd you watch?
I tried to watch a little bit of as much as I could. I was running around, doing press and stuff myself most of the time. I had a lot of signings. Spent some time at the Music Experience tent, playing the guitars and hanging out and stuff. Who was good? Of course, Metallica. We saw Volbeat was great. I caught some In Flames. In Flames, one of my favorite bands.
I saw Zach Wild, man. He crushed.
Zach Sabbath. I had my signing at Monster at the exact same time, and the Monster little hangout spot, their truck was right by that stage, so I got to watch the whole thing. It was insane.
That guy murders it, man.
Totally
that's
nuts.
The second time I seen him. I saw him at the Viper Room when they first did it.
Oh, wow.
And it was like a sweat box there, but it was great to see that, man. Joey C crushing it on the drums. Mm-hmm. That shit is great.
Yeah, we saw it at NAMM, and it was good. The NAMM convention is not really the best place to see bands because it's just a bunch of snobby musicians,
arms crossed.
Stage.
Just like,
sunglasses
I'm better than that
on indoors and at night and all that. So this was, great weather, sunny skies, playing at like 4 p.m. or whatever on a perfect day. It was just so good. It was so good. And I had the best talk with Zach afterward too. Like, I ended up running into him and just had like a great conversation about life and overcoming adversity and all, just super inspiring, cool talk. So that was awesome.
Yeah, he's a great dude. It's cool. He's back in Aussie.
Yeah, I'm excited for that. I think Gus was a fantastic guitar player, one of the best and great for that gig. But I'm excited to see Zach too.
Yeah, perfect timing. I mean, you got to think about Zach goes away so long and then finally comes back. People are fired up.
I wonder if he's gonna go back to the old school Zach Wild image and shave his beard and go back to the unbuttoned shirts.
Yeah, man, I love that early
back to
Zach
the baby
up
face,
there
no
with
more
the bell
tears.
bottoms.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was awesome, man. That's some old world. I don't think so though.
I doubt it.
Yeah.
I kind of doubt it.
No, that's his look now. Mm-hmm. Now you got a new band. First of all, what is Alice Cooper on break? Because all of a sudden it seemed like everybody in Alice Cooper has a project going now.
Yeah. Well, we had a break. We had about four months off, I think it was, between the last tour and this one. So everyone had a little time to do their own thing. Ryan's doing Roxy 77. Chuck is doing Beat Blanco. Tommy's got his solo record out or coming out, I believe. Glenn's doing the jams, the Wednesday night jams at Lucky Strike, and then I finally had a chance to really work on my band, We Start Wars.
Yeah.
Which is it's just the band. It really is. I know I said it a million times, but it's the band I've always wanted to be in.
Right.
It really is.
It's got a Phantom Blue vibe to it.
I love that you said Phantom Blue because I always reference Phantom Blue when I talk about it, and nobody knows what I'm talking about. But Phantom Blue, I think, really was the only band I can really think of that had this real proficiency, technical musicianship, and they're so underrepresented.
Yeah, they're like the female cacophony.
Yeah, totally, and they were the only all-female band on Shrapnel.
That's crazy, right?
Yeah.
And to think about nobody knows about it,
No, hardly anybody does know. And the drummer of Phantom Blue is the drummer of the Iron Maidens.
Exactly,
Linda McDonald. And
now, how'd you pick the people?
It was a long process. It really was a long audition process. And it was really I wanted musicianship first and foremost. I want somebody that's, people that are professional that I can get along with. Like all female bands have a history of, being dramatic and stuff like that. And I can honestly say that the 6 members, if we start wars, like we're best friends. There's absolutely nothing that, there's never been any arguing over parts or, who's getting more spotlight or who's getting more of anything. Like we're just like very cool, very chill, very pro. And it's, and everyone's a seasoned performer too. There's not anybody that's like super green, never toured before. Like it's a good solid lineup.
Was that your first gig that I went to? Like I saw you guys play last week.
At the Whiskey? That was the first show.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And I love that you asked that because that means it didn't seem like a first show.
Well, yeah, because sometimes you never know. Like, also I was wondering if it was like, were the other players in bands before or whatever? Because, it didn't seem like a first show.
I introduced them all.
Yeah.
We had never been in bands before together or anything.
Wow, really?
Yeah, and I had gotten back from tour. I got back from Rock on the Range, I think the same day as you did, probably that Monday.
Yeah.
Then we had rehearsal Tuesday, Wednesday, and the show was on Thursday.
Wow.
So I think it's like really a testament to like them, really how good they are, that I could just kind of cruise in and be like, all right, you guys ready? And they were ready.
Where did you find the guys, though?
It was really all word of mouth. It really was. I'm trying to think if, like I looked on Craigslist, I looked on, Jamcard and Musicians Friend and like, anything I could think of, but I didn't have any luck.
No more really Recycler magazine.
Yeah, no more.
I was just describing that Recycler back in the day. I had Sebastian on a couple days ago and Sebastian would be the ultimate score when somebody comes in, but it would be like, band with major label interest.
Yep.
Long hair and must
have gear and transportation.
Yep. And then this one, no fatties.
No
it always
fatties.
had that, no fatties. It was hilarious. And then said, no druggies. Weed and booze is cool though.
Weed and booze is cool.
Weed and booze is cool.
Actually, my old band, I've been trying to start this band for a very long time. And an older incarnation of this band, I let the bass player run the ad. And this was in the LA Weekly, I want to say. It was like one of those Craigslist or LA, I think it was Craigslist. And she actually did write no fat chicks.
Whoa.
And I was like, and like part of me went like, how dare you say that? That's terrible. And then the other part of me went, well, she may have a point.
Well, it was so brutal in the 80s. I used to say, like, if you had someone fat in your band and a label was interested, you'd go to dinner with them and they'd just be like, you got to get rid of the fat guy. It was just straight up. That was the fucking thing.
Listen,
so I'd be out of every band.
Well, you look great, by the way.
Thanks.
I didn't even recognize you when we ran into each other at Rock on the Range.
Yeah,
what did you,
so
I have
funny.
to ask what you did.
You guys are like, huh? Oh,
no, seriously.
whoa.
You had to say what your name was, and I know what you look like. But you look. What did you do?
I quit sugar, man. I quit sugar, and then I go to the gym every day.
That's
so
awesome.
It's been a year and 2 weeks. No sugar, no flour, no white rice.
Wow.
Yeah. Pretty hardcore, especially when you're at Rock on the Range and they had like 4 million desserts sitting there. Wow.
All that pie and cake.
In the old days, I would have just done drive-bys all day, like, oh, pie. And then another drive-by, oh, pudding.
Yep.
Oh, what is this? Cake,
Yeah. Well, when you really like adapt yourself to an like all or nothing things, I'm like that too. Like if I just have like, if I try to say like, oh, I'm only gonna eat a little bit of sugar, I'm only gonna eat a little bit of this, it's harder. But when you say I am completely cutting this out, no ifs, ands, or buts, you kind of don't really have any way to do it. It's no excuse. Yeah,
it's true. You work out, you go to the gym?
I do, yeah.
How much you go?
I try to go every day. It's tough. I usually make it there 5 days a week. But, the big thing for me was quitting drinking.
Yeah.
And once I did that all or nothing, I had a lot of friends going like, well, you could have just beer and not drink liquor, or you could just have, wine, or just, drink on football Sundays or whatever it is. And I was like, nah, I just got to get rid of everything or nothing, you know, like, and that was a big change for me too. And I dropped a bunch of weight from it.
Well, you obviously have a great work ethic because your guitar playing's amazing. So if you apply that ethic to other things like health and life and career, you get somewhere,
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And I think that's what, like, a lot of musicians don't think about translating that work ethic into, into building a brand, or into putting the right lineup of band members together, or, into hitting the gym or your diet or whatever it is. But it's really like, more and more in the music industry, because there's so many great players, so many like amazing virtuoso musicians, that you have to kind of be the total package. You have to set yourself apart in more than just your musicianship. No matter how much everyone wants to say, oh, it should only be about your guitar playing and nothing else should matter. Unfortunately, now that every single 9-year-old on YouTube can play Malmsteen songs better than I can.
Yeah.
It's got to be,
it's got to be a whole package.
Total package, exactly.
Yeah, I mean, like I'm a comedian, and I wish it was just about being funny, but it's not. It's Twitter, it's Instagram, it's sketch writing, it's YouTube videos, it's touring, it's podcasting. You got to have it all, or you're just going to be fucking way behind, you know?
You have the brand.
Yeah, absolutely,
merchandise and
everything.
Coffee mugs with your funny, your most known one-liners on them, and like, whatever it is, like all this stuff that builds this, like you said, just builds the total package.
Yeah, it really does. Now, when you were looking for players, you knew it was going to be female only, right?
Yeah, I wanted that from the get-go, and I just kind of wanted to show that it could be done.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, Fan and Blue, when did that come? When their self-titled album came out, I think, was 88, or something. I mean, if no one's really done it since then, that's a problem. That's, around the time I was born.
Yeah.
You don't want to, if somebody has to do it. The all-female band is so underrepresented in the music industry, especially in heavy metal and rock. And, you have a band with like a great chick drummer. Like we just saw Skillet at Rock on the Range, and man, that chick can play the drums. Jen Ledger, like she plays the drums like a monster, hitting hard, double bass and everything cool. But, they have a female guitar player, and she's kind of like more in the background. She doesn't do a lot of solos and leads and stuff. You don't see a lot of bands that have strong female musicians on all fronts, strong bass playing, strong drumming, good guitar solos, good rhythms, strong vocals. My keyboard player went to Berkeley. Like it really is just like a powerhouse of a band. You can
name the female bands on one hand, it's like the Runaways, Vixen, Phantom Blue,
Kitty, Kitty, the newer
Kitty,
one.
I forgot about
the
them.
The
Donnas. Donna's amazing.
Yeah, totally cool.
That's it, like 5 bands.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy to think, and how many millions of bands have been out there, and there's like 5 that we know that had record deals?
Super mainstream.
Yeah, record deals,
Yeah, I mean, and there are, I'm sure, like, thinking about it now, I can think of a couple more, but not ones that really, not ones that the casual rock fan would know about.
Right.
Like if I say Kitty, you're like, oh yeah, Kitty, like, oh, the Runaways, And a lot of these bands historically don't make more than one album too.
Yeah.
Like even the Runaways, I think they only did one album before they became Joan Jett and Lita Ford.
Well, a lot of times I think probably those are just thrown together as like some industry, like
Kim
thing.
Fowley.
Like, we'll make some money. It'll be this thing. It's all girls,
Yeah.
But yeah, the players were great. Did you have any nightmare auditions? Like people come by and they're like, whoa.
We really didn't, but just because, I'm so rarely here, I'm so rarely home that I didn't have time to really audition as many people as I would have wanted to.
Right.
So if I would have really been here and been able to really cast a super wide net and, and do that, it probably would have been like, we probably would have gotten some more iffy ones. But really, actually, I think the only position we really even auditioned multiple people for was the drummer.
Oh, wow.
Everything else just like really just came together really organically and cool. Like I met like-minded people. I sent them the songs. They could play them. And I was like, cool, let's do it.
Besides the keyboard player, she went to Berkeley. Mm-hmm. Are the other players like GIT or where?
No, everybody's self-taught.
Wow. Yeah. The one girl on guitar, what's she playing? Like a 12-string?
It's an 8-string. Yeah.
Man, that thing is nuts.
I think it has a bigger neck than a 12-string.
I couldn't believe it.
I can't even play her guitar, which is the funny thing. Like, I got an 8-string from Ibanez a couple years ago, like maybe 5 years ago when they first made one. And I was like, I just gave it back the next day. I was like, I don't want it.
Yeah.
I don't know what to do with it.
The neck looked like a canoe paddle.
Yeah, it's like a baseball bat.
That fucking thing is serious.
And she plays it like, like she's, I picked Nicole Papastavro, the other guitar player in my band. She has a super solid right hand, which is not something you see. And again, like, I'm the last person to be, sexist in this industry. You don't see a really solid right hand on a lot of female players. I don't know why. You just don't see it. It's not a common thing. So when I was looking, I write a lot of tight rhythms, and I wanted somebody that could keep up a really, really tight right hand. And Nicole's right hand is like miles and away better than mine. Like she's super, super tight with her picking. And especially on those big old strings on the 8 string, I mean,
it's crazy.
You know, the low string looks like a pinky finger.
Yeah.
It's like, it's a big, you know, it's like, it's almost like a bass, you know, she's kind of got like a top 2 bass strings on her guitar. So it's pretty rad sounding with her on an 8 and me on a 6.
What's the point of 8 strings? Just like for lower tuning, like Korn style stuff. Like Korn played a lot of those. Like
I think they play on a 7.
Yeah,
Korn.
7. But,
yeah,
you know.
It just gives you an extended range. Just gives you more, you know, more options of notes to play. And there are guys like Tosin from Animals as leaders that can do all the crazy lead stuff, you know, like amazing leads and sweeps and everything on an 8 string. But I'm not one of those people.
That's some.
I need my smaller,
That's some guitar nerd
deck.
stuff there, boy.
Big time.
Just crazy.
Yeah, absolutely.
I like the bass player. She had a killer vibe. I was like, she could easily be in LA Guns, you know?
Her boyfriend is in LA Guns.
Oh, that's hilarious. Yeah, because that must be your boyfriend's bass. Right? Does he play?
No, that's her
they
bass.
Both have Zemitis?
Yeah. No, he's the guitar player, Michael Grant.
That's hilarious, man.
Totally. And I love that you said LA Guns of all bands because that's totally her boyfriend.
Absolutely. I was like, oh, that girl could be in LA Guns,
totally.
You know?
Yeah.
Wow, that's
I guess
funny.
Technically she could be if anything ever happens to Johnny Martin. She's got an in.
She wears the same hat and everything.
That was what she told me. And I think that was kind of like their joke when they first started dating. It's like, hey, we both wear the same hat.
Wow. That is hilarious.
Yeah, super cute couple too.
Now, where are all the players from? Are they California or what?
California for the most part. The singer is a Wisconsin transplant. So
The singer really reminds me of Gigi.
I love that. And
Yeah.
Gigi is one of my favorite singers of all time. Gigi came and sang The Trooper with the Maidens once in Vegas, and like afterward, I think I cried and I gave her a hug, and I was like, that was so cool for me, like,
Wow.
because I was such a big fan, Blue fan, and Michelle was the first because I knew about Michelle Meldrum before I knew about Jennifer Batten. You know, like Michelle was like the first female guitar player that I was like, if she can do that, I can do that. You know, and she was such a phenomenal player, and Gigi's voice was just so incredible, and like, you know, and Gigi has still got it too. And she sang with us in Vegas a couple years ago. Like, she's still got that big belt voice. And
wow.
What
does she do now, you know?
She's living in Vegas. I'm not sure what she's doing. I don't think
She used to date
doing
Jakey
music.
Lee.
She did used to. And I don't know like what if she's doing any music. I don't think so. I'm Facebook friends with her. I haven't seen her post about any music stuff. She's a real animal lover and just.
I gotta look her up because I go to Vegas to do shows. You know?
Yeah, you should.
Yeah.
You should get her on the podcast or something. She's super rad.
Yeah, man. And if you guys haven't heard Fan of Blue, check them out. Is it on iTunes? I never looked.
I haven't looked either. I mean, I have the CD from Time to Run. Remember that?
Oh yeah,
it's so good.
Yeah.
Fan and Blue. I wish more people. I talk about them so much, and I get this really confused look from so many people, which I'm so glad that you know who they are. Like, it's such a shame that more people don't know how great that band is.
Pretty well. Now you get the band together, and then do you already have? Did you write the songs? You already have the songs. How did this happen?
Well, I started writing songs for this band in February of last year, and I was on a clinic tour for Ibanez, and I was by myself a lot, and I had a lot of downtime with a guitar, so I started writing. I have my Pro Tools set up with me, and I started writing and recording. I was like, I don't really know what I'm going to do with it. My keyboard player, Kat, I've just dragged her with me from band to band. I don't like being in an original band without her because she's a great songwriter, great keyboard player, and great vocalist.
Yeah.
And above all, she's just kind of like that steady hand at the wheel. Like, I can be a little all over the place, and she's just like the steady, like, okay, here's the chorus. Like, let's get this way. So I knew
she's like the doctor in Purple Rain.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Totally.
Doctor!
And so I got her, she was kind of a given that I knew I wanted her to be a part of it. And then I met the bass player, Alicia. I actually ran into her boyfriend. We were walking around in our area where Josh and I live. And I go, oh, I know that guy. There's Michael from LA Guns. And he goes, hey, how's everything going? We got to talking. I said, I'm putting together a band. He goes, well, if you need a bass player, my girlfriend plays the bass and she works right in this store.
Wow.
It was like literally the store. We were standing outside. He goes, oh, I'll just bring her out so you can meet her. And we just, we hit it off and started, game planning and auditioning people from there. And it really just took this like really organic course. And like I said, we didn't audition anybody except drummers.
Right.
We really didn't. And then Lindsay Martin, my drummer now, is like super powerhouse. Like you saw her do that drum solo.
Yeah.
Like, you know, you don't see people doing drum solos, like guys or girls, that creative. You know, she's using the rototoms and all kinds of crazy stuff. And, you know, she's just so, I can't wait to see where she's at in a year, because she just started playing metal.
Wow, really? What kind of, what she play, like rock before?
Yeah, her influences are more like Motley Crue, Led Zeppelin, you know, straightforward. But she's got real fast feet.
She had to be probably into like Tommy Lee's sister.
Big time.
Yeah, you could tell. As I was watching the band, I could tell, like, I could see where these guys, what they listen to.
Everybody's
stuff.
influences,
Yeah. Which is cool, because eventually it'll all come into like this one thing, and it'll add so much flavor, you know,
totally.
to the songs. Because like if you're just writing the songs and then they add their flavor, it'll be like, oh, this is, you know, you guys. It'll be your sound.
Well, that's the cool thing, you know, like I came into it with like a base of songs, and then we started writing together, you know, and Lindsay, the drummer, like even though she's got this straightforward rock background, she has like a real tribal sensibility to her playing. Like you can hear like some Sepultura or like some of these crazier tom beats that she does. And then Nicole, the other guitar player, has got this real kind of gent, Meshuggah, you know, more metal influence. And I have my kind of like metal and power metal and stuff. And Shauna's got that big rock voice, and, you know, adding the keys kind of gives it, you know, a more exotic sound. It just really like, it came together into a kind of new thing, you know, like I think it's turning into something that active rock fans will like, you know, like radio rock fans will be able to listen to, and heavier music fans will be able to listen to and be like, hey, this is something I can get down on.
Yeah.
Because it's got some technical parts, got some breakdowns, got some screaming, but then it's also got big hooks and big choruses and, you know, big chords.
There's a lot of dudes there.
Yeah.
Hopefully we get some girls at your show, man, and get girls to be inspired into playing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's what I'm all about. You know, like I remember being a young guitar player, I didn't have a lot of female role models. It was really like Michelle,
and
that was it. And then Jennifer, when I saw the video of Jennifer at the Super Bowl with Michael Jackson, I thought that was so cool, you know. But besides, I mean, like you said, you know, we just named 5 all-female bands, and we could sit here for the next 3 hours and name all guy bands.
You know? The history of rock.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? It seems like the history of rock, it goes like 60s, there's no female rock bands, I mean, that I know that got famous, but then late 70s is Runaways, and then 80s is Vixen. It just seemed like every
generation had like one.
Exactly.
You know? And then
Isn't
the
that
90s,
wild?
The 90s are like the, you know, or I guess it was more like 2000s were the Donnas. Was there anybody in the 90s?
I don't know, actually.
Drain STH?
I don't know.
Do they have any guys in that band? No, it was all female, right? Yeah, Drain STH, I guess, in the 90s. And then Kitty and the Donnas in the I mean, like, literally, like, one every 10 years.
It's crazy.
You know, and I'm not talking, of course, there have been, you know, so many other ones that didn't, like, break through in the mainstream, but, you know, one known all-female band.
Yeah.
You know, and that's crazy. Like,
it
that's
is crazy.
Weird.
It is crazy.
You know, and especially seeing all these amazing female musicians coming out now, like, you know, these great drummers, great guitar players on YouTube, and some of them, like I said, are like 8 and 9 years old, like these fantastic players. I just can't wait to see them all get in bands together, get off the YouTube, get out of the bedrooms, and start playing shows.
Yeah,
you know,
that's the problem with those YouTube players, man. They got to get out and play
shows.
You see them and they shred in their living room, and then they've never played with a drummer or anything, you know, and they're like, oh, what? You know what I mean? Where do I go?
It's a different animal. You know, you're out there, you can't hear yourself. Like, you know, you can't stop the tape and redo it again.
And you're not sitting down on the couch.
Stand up and interact with people.
Yeah. Yeah, you got great stage presence, which is awesome, and I mean that's got to be like coming from touring nonstop with Alice Cooper. You really get your wings, you know what I mean? The longer you're on stage,
it's just years of development. Like I've been touring since I was 15, you know, so it's just like when I went out on my first tour, I could barely play any solos, but I was going out and doing it, and they were probably terrible sounding. In my mind, they sounded great, but like I'm sure if I went back and looked at the videos, like I'd be like, "What are you doing?" You know, and you do your stupid kid stage moves. Like I remember, like I used to do this weird thing, like that I think I saw Axl Rose do, where you kind of do like the side to side, like snake. Shuffle, like, and then like in my mind, I looked really cool, like a boxer or something. Like, yeah, I'm badass, you know, side to side, and then the guys in one of my old bands started calling it "Skit to My Lou" and I had to stop doing it. But it's like, you go out and you do stupid stuff and then you see how it looks and then you don't do it anymore. And then you make mistakes and then you realize, what you need and what you need in your monitors. It's just like little things that only come with time spent on the road touring.
Yeah. Now, you guys got a single out, right?
Yeah, The Animal Inside.
And it's on iTunes?
It's on iTunes, Spotify, Amazon, all that good stuff.
And then are you going to do a full record?
Yeah, definitely. That's definitely the goal. My schedule with Alice is so tight right now.
Yeah.
When I started this, like really, taking this process seriously in, I guess it was October of last year when we started going, okay, let's start moving towards playing shows. 2017 wasn't that busy. It didn't look like it was going to, have all that much going on. And then as time went on, they started filling up more dates and more dates and more dates. Like what happens, And so now it's turning into pretty limited time that I have this year. But the great thing is, 2017 we can write and record and send stuff instantly, and
awesome, right?
So it's been a pretty easy writing process with me being gone so far. So I think it's going to continue to be pretty easy.
And then do they rehearse while you're gone as a band?
Oh yeah, they're in there
great.
twice a week.
Oh wow,
that's the cool thing. Like when we got this, when we all moved into my studio in Burbank, I told them, I was like, okay, what days work for everybody? Is it Tuesday, Thursday? Tuesday, Thursday are the days. Whoever can come on Tuesday, Thursday comes. It's not like, okay, if one person can't make it, let's just not do it. Like even if it's just two people, whoever can be there on Tuesdays and Thursdays, be there.
Right.
Even if we don't have a show coming up, even if we don't have nothing going on, even if you guys just go in and run the set once and then leave, like just being in there and having that routine of being a band, it goes a long way.
Yeah, feeling part of something.
Exactly.
Now let's give the names of the players. So we got the other guitar player.
The other guitar player is Nicole Papastavru.
Bass player
is Alicia Vigil.
The keyboard player,
Kat Scarlett.
Then the singer.
Singer is Shauna.
Shauna, no last name?
No, Shauna.
Rock and roll.
She's like Madonna.
Yeah. Shauna Madonna.
Yeah, Shauna Madonna, but not Madonna though.
That's a great
Shauna.
name. Shauna Madonna, man. That sounds fucking rock and roll,
cool,
right?
Actually.
Shauna Madonna, yeah.
Exactly. I love that.
That's fucking great, right? Yeah. And then the drummer's name?
The drummer's Lindsay Martin.
Nice, man. Now, Alice, you guys are going, this guy, does he ever age or what? Like, no. People are falling left and right, and this guy is alive and well, man.
He is so alive and so well, it's nuts. Like,
how old is he?
He is 69.
Wow, man.
Yeah, he just had a birthday in February, 69 years young.
69, he's out there playing. How many gigs a year?
We do about like 9 or 10 months a year of touring.
Holy
of like
shit.
Solid touring. And he gets up and plays golf every single morning. He goes to church every Sunday. Like he's an active guy. He doesn't just sit around and nap and get on stage. Like he plays golf literally every single morning unless it's snowing or pouring rain.
On the road?
On the road, yeah.
Wow.
Every city he plays golf in the morning, and he does press all day long, and then does the show, and then gets up and does it all over again.
I can't even believe how long that guy's been on stage.
No, it's incredible, and the coolest thing is how down to earth he's stayed throughout the whole thing.
Yeah,
he's got no ego on him, and I asked him once, anytime we'll go out to dinner as a band or anything, he always gets mobbed. People will come in and talk to him while he's eating or whatever. They want to get their moment to talk to Alice Cooper. And he's so gracious and so cool, and like he will literally take the fork out of his mouth and put it down on the plate, and they'll say, Alice, I got $1 billion babies when I was in high school, and he'll say, yeah, tell me about it, and he'll listen, and he'll actually care. It's not like oh yeah, I know, I've heard the story 1,000 times.
Like get out, I'm
cares.
eating.
Yeah, he's sitting there with his wife, and his band, and people see fit to kind of like interrupt, and if it was me, I'd be like, excuse me, can't you see him eating?
Yeah.
And he is so never like that. It's actually changed the way me and I think like all the guys in the band kind of interact with anybody. Like he'd put down a phone call to talk to a fan. He would put down, I've literally seen him put the fork down out of his mouth to listen to someone talk about the first time they heard $1 Billion Babies. And it's like his genuineness and his humbleness, and everything. It just inspires me so much to like how I would want to be if I was ever in that position.
That's killer, man. Same manager, that Supermensch guy?
Shep Gordon, the Supermensch himself.
Unbelievable. That guy, man.
Unreal. Yeah.
I mean, that story of like, the guy shows up in LA to sell weed.
Yep.
and then, you know, Hendrix is like, yeah, you're Jewish. You ought to manage this guy here. And then he starts managing Alice Cooper till right now, 2017.
And he's like, he's like super hands-on. He was just, you know, he comes out to the beginning of every tour and gives his notes on the show, and he'll come into to rehearsals and say, change this, stand there, take this song out, put this song here, and kind of just put his touch on it, you know, put his thumbprint on it to make it, you know, the Alice Cooper experience. Then he comes out midway through the tour and gives some more notes and says, I see you guys are doing this works, this doesn't work, you know, and
wow.
He's very, very hands-on still.
What, you guys travel on bus? Is Alice on his own bus and you guys on another?
Kind of, sort of. We just actually split into 2 buses last year. And wow. I think he was, you know, I think they had been doing it, you know, with Alice and the band on the same bus for like 40 years, you know, like.
Wow. Snake on the bus too, right?
Snake on the bus, yeah.
Snake on the bus. That's a band name.
Snake on the bus.
Snake on the bus with Madonna. Shauna Madonna.
Like, hata. And no, you know, now we're on the 2 buses. You know, it's Alice and 2 of the guys from the band on one bus, and then 3 of us and our tour manager and production assistant on the other bus. So it's like we have a little more room now. We got a little more room to, you know, to stretch out, because before we were kind of, you know, all up in each other's business all the time.
Yeah.
You know,
does your boyfriend travel with you?
Oh yeah, he can't escape me for long.
He's on the bus
every once in a while.
Oh,
every once in a while, you know, like all the we kind of try to stagger when the girlfriends and boyfriend come out, so it's not super crowded on the bus.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, you know, everybody's significant other is always welcome to come and hang. And Josh comes out with me. Like, I would say if I'm gone for more than like 3 or 4 weeks, usually he'll come out for a few days and hang. You know, we'll pick a good place where we know people and see some friends and stuff.
Now, who's on the Alice Cooper tour this year?
Who's
like I'm saying that?
What are the bands?
You guys touring with anybody else?
Our headline shows are an evening with, so it's, you know, it's really just like a long set of ours. We go super, super deep, you know, into the older stuff. And we've got, I think, just this next run of that in the States. You know, we leave next, I think a week from today is the first show, actually. We're doing a week of that, or a few weeks of that in the States, and we do a few weeks of that in Europe, and then, a few months of that, I think, in Europe. And then we go out with Deep Purple and Edgar Winter.
Oh, that's going to be sick.
Which is going to be killer.
Deep Purple?
Yeah, Deep Purple and Edgar Winter.
Richie Blackmore? I mean, Ian Gillan, man.
Yeah.
And then what's the guy's name from Dixie Dregs on guitar?
Steve Morse.
Yeah, man.
Steve Morse is amazing.
That guy's...
I'm the world's, not the world's biggest, but like I'm a big, big Steve Morse fan. And you know, when this tour got announced, everyone goes, it's not Deep Purple without Richie Blackmore. And as amazing as Blackmore is, of course, and no disrespect meant to Richie Blackmore, I can't wait to see Steve Morse.
Yeah, did you ever get into Dixie
fan.
Dregs back in the day? It was like straight up Bay Area hippie style band, but he's just like, you know, just progressive.
Wailing. I heard about Dixie Dregs when I actually heard Steve Morse on another podcast. I heard him on No Guitar Is Safe, G Gold's podcast, and then they played a little bit of the snippets of Dixie Dregs, and I was like, what the fuck is this?
Man.
Like, you know, so I listened to it, and man, like Steve's playing is just so tasty.
Yep.
Like one of those guys, like you really listen to him. And again, he's very progressive, like you said, very proggy, very technical player. But he's got that like real nasty, tasty feel to his licks. It's just like, that's cool. You know, I can't wait to... I have a feeling I'm going to learn a lot on that tour.
Oh, absolutely,
like watching them every
man.
Night.
That guy.
Yeah, and then Edgar Winter, too, is going to be... Edgar Winter's opening up, and then it'll be us, and then Deep Purple. Like, and I'm super excited about it.
I wanted to see Robin Trower at the Will Turn, but we were at Rock on the Range. But I was waiting for like months to see that. It's crazy to think back to the days of those guys like Robin Trower or Edgar Winter and Johnny Winter together. They sold out like the Oakland Coliseum where the A's play.
Right.
In the 70s. That's how big guitar players were back then. Can you imagine, like, here he is, you know, Edgar Winter, and 60,000 tickets sold. You're like, what? That guy plays like House of Blues, you know?
Exactly. No, I mean, like House of Blues, if a House of Blues, you know? And that's, I mean, it is a shame. You know, where's Vi play when he plays the Will Turn at the biggest, I think. you know, and
Yep.
I think it's still like that in Japan. From what I've heard, they've still got that big market for solo guitar playing. Marty Friedman's over there, and like
It's wild
you know,
to think
a lot of
about that, though.
people,
Like
yeah.
Frank Marino and Mahogany Rush, all
Yeah.
those guys.
Big
It's just
time.
like, what the hell, man?
Yeah, no, it's crazy. But it's also funny how you think like there's these bands like I just found out, I didn't know this, like I just found out Pearl Jam is still really big.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
Oh,
I
they're
didn't know.
huge.
You know, like what
Right.
do I know? I live under a guitar player rock, you know. I
Yeah.
only listen to really like guitar player music, but like, you know, I was just having this conversation a couple days ago and they're like, "No." And like you know, Josh was just telling me, "Yeah, Pearl Jam plays at like, you know, the Staples Center or whatever." I was like,
yeah.
"I would have thought Pearl Jam would be like a troubadour band or
No
something now."
way,
And
man.
like it's crazy how big things are that we don't know about. You know, like you would think that if something was really like was Staples Center big, everybody would know about it, but you don't know.
It comes down to songwriting, you
Yeah.
know, and that's the bottom line. If you're going to do a band, you got to have great songs,
Yeah.
and that stands the test of time. So, and not just one song, but every couple albums, Pearl Jam had one or two big radio songs. Same with Metallica. Metallica would not be around anymore if it was just the first
If it
three
was just
records.
the Black Album, even.
Or just the first three records.
Yeah.
But Black Album, you got 3 radio songs. Then you get
Yeah.
into the Load record with 3 radio songs. And then you
Yeah.
get into, you know, the early stuff, a couple radio songs that, you
And
know.
you get the masterpiece, I Disappear.
yeah, yeah. Or,
Who's that band?
Give Me Fuel.
Live.
Live. They were fucking on that bill Friday night.
Yeah, but here's the crazy thing. Literally, Dean, I'm telling you the truth. I have never heard of Live.
What?
I had never heard the name Live as a band. Like I was like, and you know, it was supposed to be Soundgarden headline.
Yeah,
band.
right.
So I was all excited. You know, I was going to see Soundgarden, and I go, "Who is Live?"
Yeah.
And Josh and everyone looked at me like I was crazy. They're like, "Live was huge," and everyone was playing me this Dolphin song and all this stuff. I'm like,
Oh, they were
"No,
huge.
Never. And then we watched them from the side of the stage, and I was walking, you know, looking out at this sea of 60,000 people, going, "Am I from another planet?" Like,
Yeah.
I don't know any of these songs.
Well,
Everybody's singing along.
Live is a spin-off, basically. You got to think of all that era of from U2. You know what I
Mm-hmm. Okay.
mean? There was a lot of guys when young were influenced by U2.
Right.
So you got Live and all those bands that were out there in the 90s. 90s were loaded with a lot of bands that you were probably just learning guitar, you know, burning in your room. But
Right.
you got all, like I used to shit on 90s music. I was like, 90s.
I
there's
know
nothing
about
there.
like REM and stuff like that. Like
Yep.
I feel like I knew stuff about the 90s music, but apparently I knew nothing because apparently Live was like this huge band and I
Massive.
saw it. I mean, I witnessed it. We were standing there on the side of the stage at Rock on the Range and everybody's singing along and I was like, man, I thought I knew about rock music.
Yeah, there's a good a thing where the singer left the band and he's doing the troubadour and the other 3 guys or whatever are doing the troubadour.
Right.
But then they get back together and they're doing, you know,
Oh, is that what it was?
Massive show, yeah, because they were just like, you know, they had a battle, a
Right.
big lawsuit and battle and
Little
stuff.
whole Queensryche situation.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
but if Queensryche got back together, they wouldn't be as big as Live right now, you know?
Once I got to get back together, they'd probably still be playing the troubadour or just be more full.
Yeah, and that also has to get into burning a brand, burning it up,
Absolutely.
just ruining a brand and burning, you know, Great White style, Rat with 6 different rats, and
yeah, Bobby Blotzer's Rat Experience
yeah,
or whatever
just
it is.
all that is just ruining it for the fan.
Yeah, it
so by
really
the time
does.
the big reunion comes, people are like, I don't care.
Yeah. And that's kind of the cool thing about Alice, you know, like there was the whole thing with Alice and the original band, and we just had the original guys up with us in Nashville and they did a
Yeah.
few songs and that was badass. But the cool thing about Alice is he just separated, made his own brand and carried on with that and never said, hey, this is my band, these are my guys. And there was never like, you know, there was a lot of member turnover in Alice's band. There always
Okay.
has been.
Yeah, there's got to be over 100 players, right?
It's pretty. You look at Wikipedia and you see
Yeah.
the list. I mean, it's a lot of people, but it was never weird because the show was always about Alice.
Absolutely.
You know, and that's
build
kind
your
of-
brand.
Build your brand, and he built his brand, and we're all there to support Alice. You know, like none of us are there to make a solo career out of being an Alice Cooper. You know, all of us are there to be in the Alice Cooper show, and very gratefully so. You know, so when Coop goes left, we go left. When Coop goes right, we go right. If he wants to take a step back, we'll take a step forward. When he takes a step forward, we take a step back, and that's
Right.
just that's the beauty of being in that band. Is like there's not really a lot of ego. There's not really a lot of drama because it's all about the boss.
It's not like Shauna Madonna and the Snake on the Bus band. That fucking band's got
That's
ego
all
city.
drama.
Now, how'd you come up with the name? I like the name.
We Start Wars. It's kind of, I remember hearing this phrase when I was in school, and I had a teacher say to the class, the greatest wars in history were fought over a beautiful woman. And I was in high school, I was like, that's badass. Like, that's cool. And I always had that phrase in my head. And I started, looking into it, like what wars were fought over women. And if you start looking into it, you think of Helen of Troy, you think of Joan of Arc. But there's all these other ones you don't think about, in different parts of history, Cleopatra and Mark Antony. And, there's a whole faction of the Chinese of the war in China when the Ming Dynasty fell. And, when the Celts, invaded the Romans in the late 1600s, they had this badass warrior queen who's, I don't know how to pronounce her name, Boudica, I think. Her husband, the king, died, and he left everything to his wife and his daughters. The wife, the Romans came in and they said, "Oh, we don't recognize it." And the queen went, "Oh, hell no," and led this like super bloody uprising against the Romans, for her honor and for her daughter's honor. And, ended up killing 70,000 Romans or something like that, something crazy. And like this whole idea of the female warrior and the female archetype and the blood that's been shed either by women or for women in this, in history. It just kind of like that was the whole inspiration of it.
Don't forget about the battle of the Beatles over Yoko Ono.
Oh yeah, war. The greatest war, the greatest war in history.
Now shout out. Let's see if we got any questions for you here on Twitter here.
Oh yeah,
kind of doing a thing here. Where I have a fan. Okay, here's one here. Are you still playing Ibanez? And do you have any other guitars? Now, I know you're playing Ibanez.
Oh, yeah.
But do you have any other guitars? Like, do you ever play a Les Paul or anything?
I have a collection, yeah. I've got some non-Ibanez guitars, but I haven't played any of them in years. Like, I've got an SG Special. I have an 84 Gibson Flying V. I've got a Parker Fly and a Washburn and a couple other ones, but really, I mean, like the Ibanez guitars, and it really has nothing to do with my endorsement. Like, they're the most comfortable for me to play.
Yeah.
I was playing an Ibanez before I got to deal with them, and I will continue, if they ever, see fit to not work with me anymore, I'm going to keep playing an Ibanez after that.
Oh, don't let them know that.
No, no.
I cut that out.
The funny
They're
thing,
like, yeah, we don't need to get another. She'll just play them anyway.
Yeah, right.
Go ahead. For now on, go to Guitar Center and pick up your racks.
Go get it, right? Well, the funny thing is, it is true with Ibanez. Like, I have no bargaining power with them because they do know, like, my blood bleeds Ibanez.
I love the gem.
I just bought one. I just got one.
Oh, you did?
I just got a floral gem. Like,
that's the one I want.
My dream.
Oh,
and you can never find them.
The Steve Vai floral one.
Yeah.
The old school ones too now are like faded and patinaed, so they're kind of yellowed.
I have a pink one. My pink one. My SK is kind of faded like that, and it's really, really cool.
I love that.
My floral is in really good shape. It's in really, really, really good shape. I've been playing it out on the Alice tour now. It's actually over at the Ibanez Custom Shop, getting a little love at the doctor.
I saw recently a photo of Steve Vai's wall at his house. And have you seen that photo? It's just a wall of gems and all that. And I was like, man, that's, because being a guitar player now, it's really hard to have a guitar and an identity that's yours. You look back, you got Eddie Van Halen with the stripe stuff, Randy Rhoads with the polka dot, and then Zakk Wylde with the bullseye.
Yeah.
But, Steve Vai really made a mark with that gem, man, with the handle and everything, and the way just doing that playing in the David Lee Roth videos.
He really did. And it's, my Ibanez rep said the other day, he said there's the Strat, there's the Les Paul, and there's the Gem.
I believe
those
that.
are the most recognizable guitars. It really is.
It's so crazy, man.
I love those gems. And I always said, like, I don't want to play someone else's signature. I want to hold out for my own signature series.
Yeah.
But man, when I got that floral, I had it on stage 3 hours later.
Where did you get it?
The Dallas Guitar Show.
Oh, you went to that?
Yeah. We happened to be an hour away from Dallas. We were playing in Durant, Oklahoma.
Recently?
Yeah, just like a couple weeks ago.
Oh, that one was huge. Bonamasso got that Karina V there.
Oh, yeah.
Nobody's
yeah.
talking about how much, but it had to be a
Josh
million.
happened to be in Dallas, you know, and anytime I'm within an hour of my man, I got to go see him. We ended up in Dallas, and it's
Wow.
like it was an amazing.
So you go to the
chain of
show and
events.
you're walking and you're looking on the tables and you see one?
Yeah, the guitar was there, and it was just like this amazing chain of events that led to this guitar coming to my life. And it was just like, and this guitar, and the coolest thing was the guy had the Guitar World, the 1988 Guitar World with Steve and the floral gem on the cover with it.
Wow.
And
so you're just walking up and you see it, or are you going like, holy shit?
Holy shit. I got to play it. I got to play this guitar. And I was like, and then I didn't want to play it because I knew I couldn't afford it. And and then the guy said, well, can you just play it, so we can get a picture for our Facebook?
Yeah.
And then one thing led to another, and it ended up coming home with us.
Wow.
And I got the magazine too.
It was in mint condition?
It's in great condition, yeah.
Wow.
It's in really, really good condition. There's a couple little things, I had to commit some sacrilege, to make it playable for me on stage. It has to have my strap locks on it.
Oh, yeah, of course. Who cares
Little
about
things
that?
like people care.
I know, but you put the buttons back on.
The buttons back on, but I had to drill deeper into the wood to put the longer screws
Right.
in. I had to open up a little bit of the cavity where the volume pot goes to put my fast action pots in, and little things like that. It's like this,
Yeah, but you're not going to sell it.
What do you do? No,
you're
I'm
gonna keep
never
it,
going to
so
sell
it
it.
doesn't
I'm
matter.
going to keep it forever. And it's kind of like, if you buy a classic car, do you really need the old engine in it, or are you going to put a new engine in it so you could drive it?
Yeah.
That was kind of how I ended up looking at it. I'm like, maybe I shouldn't.
How much was it?
Maybe I shouldn't. Well, it's a long story.
Yeah. But what did he want for it at first?
You know what's funny? I don't even know. The negotiation part, I will say this. I think it's actually worth less than what he was asking for it.
Right.
Because he kind of was a little misleading. I don't think it's an 88. I think it's a newer one, but they didn't make them for that long. So
Right.
whatever it is, it's a cool find, but he kind of had the 1988 Guitar World out there with it as if
Right.
it's here's
Right.
the first run. And
Right.
I don't think it's quite that.
But your Ibanez could tell you, right?
Yeah, well, they've got it now. And actually, I asked them. I handed it off to them yesterday, and my Ibanez rep was already kind of like, well, this is interesting. That's interesting. This patina on the back plate is like this, and da da da. So they're gonna come back to me with some more information, I think.
Wow,
on it.
that's cool.
And the funniest thing was he goes, what's this all over the back? And I had gaff taped the whole back, so I didn't want to scratch it with my
yeah.
belt.
Yeah.
Little things like that, you don't really think about. And then you look at the back of my guitars, and they're just scratched to shit.
Oh, God,
I'm
yeah.
I have to wear a belt for my in-ear pack.
Yeah.
Because otherwise I have it in my pocket. I look like I'm playing with a wallet in my pocket like a doofus.
Yeah.
So I got to clip it onto a belt, and all the back of my guitars are all scratched up. So I'm like, I'm not doing it. And the back of my guitar is like a war zone, just all covered in black gaff.
Oh, look at all those 70s Les Pauls by the biggest rock star. They're coming out with just the big stoner belt buckles like Joe Walsh and Jimmy Page and shit. Mm-hmm. And the backs are just trashed. And now those guitars are worth, $1 million, $500,000.
Totally. Yeah, maybe, I don't know. Maybe the belt scratches on mine will make them worth something. I don't know.
You have your own guitar with Ibanez?
I have a custom shop right now. I've been with them 9 years this year, and they built me one last year.
I saw it. It would look pretty thin.
It is, yeah. It's an S series, and I love that thinness. I love that light body because you can really throw it around. It's mahogany, so it's still got great sustain. Without getting too much into the guitar nerd specs of it.
Yeah.
It really has a lot of resonance. The wood really rings out a lot. So a lot of people think with a guitar that thin you wouldn't get a lot of sustain out of it, but you really when you have a good quality piece of mahogany and you have good pickups in it, you're going to get that sustain.
Yeah.
So
you should get a custom shop, the one you play in the floral. That would be
right?
dope.
That would be amazing.
Yeah,
that would
man.
be crazy looking. That would be really, really
or
cool.
something crazy like Louis Vuitton logos or something.
Well, have you seen my Ninja Turtles one?
Your what one?
My Ninja Turtles guitar?
No.
Oh, it's cool. I'll send you a picture of it.
Wait, you got Ninja Turtles?
If you Google Nita Strauss Ninja Turtles,
I'll look that up.
You'll see this guitar. It's an RG, but it's got a full Ninja Turtles graphic on it.
Wow. You play that in Alice?
No, they wouldn't let me. That was one of the first things.
That's not too evil.
Bob Ezrin forbid it. himself. He said, "You are not bringing that guitar out on this tour." I said, "No, sir, I'm not."
Wow.
I was planning on it, but
Now, Bob Ezrin still work for Alice Cooper?
Yeah. He was just at our show in Nashville. He gave us a lot of notes, and
Man.
he just worked on the new album Paranormal.
I'd love to talk to him. He did the Kiss the Elder out record, right?
Destroyer.
Yeah, Destroyer, yeah. I think he also did. Oh no, I think the Pink Floyd guy did the Elder. But yeah, Bob Ezrin, man, what a guy, right?
Definitely an interesting guy. Definitely has a lot of musical clout and a lot of notes for us every time he sees us play.
What now? Who's going to do your record, and where are you going to do it?
That I don't know. I have my studio here in LA, like that. I like to record myself. I really do, like, because I like, I know how I like my guitars to be. I like my own sounds. The song "The Animal Inside," the We Start Wars single, I actually recorded every single bit of that myself. We did the drums ourselves. I did all the guitars and bass.
Drums
and
are live?
Drums are played live. All the guitars, bass, and keys were done at my studio, and the only thing I didn't do completely myself was mix and master.
Wow! So you run Pro Tools, or what are you running?
Pro Tools, yeah.
Wow.
Pro Tools
and you learned that on your own?
Yeah, I learned it from lynda.com, courses and stuff. I started getting into it when I was about 20, 21. I'm 30 now, so I started getting into it Pro Tools 3 or something, and it was really out of necessity because I was getting called for a lot of work. A lot of session stuff.
And they send you the tracks.
They send me the track, and I would have to go and get somebody to record me, and it would eat into my money,
Right.
So if I'm getting, at the time, getting $200 to record something, and then I have to spend $100, at somebody's studio, getting me to record this thing, it made no sense.
Wow.
And that's really how I've done, I would say 90% of the guest stuff that I've done. I never really go into someone's studio because I might as well just send it into them. I can do it from my couch.
Yeah.
Like we're doing right now.
Yeah, it's great.
And it's kind of perfect. So, just getting into it more and more, learning about the plugins, learning about the nuances of editing and whatnot. I still wouldn't consider myself somebody that could really mix a record because that's not what I'm good at. But I'm perfectly capable of pressing the buttons and
that's
doing
great.
guitars and stuff. So, I'd venture to guess I'll do a good bit of it myself. But I think also, especially a new band like We Start Wars, I think will really benefit from using a producer, working with somebody that knows what we're doing,
Totally. Because it gets into song arrangements and it gets into other things too of what to play and what not to play.
Totally.
Other people can hear it
and
outside of the band.
Yeah,
outside the band. Because in the band you go no way, that's my part, and then the person's going to be well, yeah, but that part doesn't really work here. You know what I mean?
And it's hard. It's hard to hear that, but it's got to be done.
Yeah,
it really does.
Well, I'm looking forward to hearing that record. And you guys got any dates coming up? Anybody can come see you?
Right now, I'm just out with Alice. It's got I've got a show with my cover band, the Starbreakers. That's going to be here in LA on June 27th.
Oh, where at?
The Viper Room.
Oh, cool.
But besides that, it's really just all Alice Cooper and guitar clinics for me for the rest of the year. I'm leaving for a clinic in Toronto tomorrow, and then after that, we're just out with Alice. We're going to be out here, I think. Well, not really out here. Temecula's not out here, but we're going to be back in Southern California at the end of June.
I got to go check that out.
You have to come.
Yeah, absolutely.
Totally.
And let me know when We Start Wars plays again.
I will. And thank you for coming to the show.
Yeah, and I'll tweet it out and stuff. And you guys were filming some stuff there. Are you doing a little live video or something?
Yeah, that's the plan. We're going to do a live video. We had some great guys that were filming some stuff, so we're going to put together a live video so people can see a little bit more what we do.
That's great.
Yeah.
Thanks for doing the show.
Thanks
and
so much.
Your Instagram and Twitter.
I'm Hurricane Nita.
Oh, that's right.
Yep. Nita Strauss on Facebook, Hurricane Nita on Snap and Instagram and Twitter, even though I never really use my Snap. Do you do Snap?
You know what? I it's too clunky to me. And
I don't
Instagram just rips everything off, so I just do it all on Instagram.
Just do the Instagram.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I like Instagram live video, and I like Instagram photos because I love photos.
Yeah.
And I like to look at photos. The problem with Snapchat is there's no feed. I like to look at feeds when I'm sitting at the airport in a dumb line or something.
Yeah, totally.
There's no feed. So you're just kind of this is... And it's clunky. You swipe over here. There's nothing. Oh, there's something here.
Yeah.
And, it's a bad app, I think. Kids love it, but...
I'm not super into it. I like the Facebook Live.
Yeah. A lot of people into that.
I like that.
I love Instagram Live.
I've never done an Instagram
Oh,
Live.
it's great.
It doesn't save it, though, right?
No, that's what I love about it. And then
All
if
right.
I want to save it, I'll just have Periscope.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm still rolling Periscope. That kind of faded away, but I still like Periscope.
I've never done a Periscope either, I don't think.
I Periscope a lot of, like when I'm at shows, I'll Periscope the band's first song so people can check it. You know?
I do that on Facebook Live a lot. Like I'll do a Facebook Live of it, and it seems pretty cool. Although like every once in a while it backfires on me. Like I did one. Usually it'll just be me filming the stage from my perspective. I did one, I gave the camera to Josh during my signing when I was signing right by Zach Sabbath. So he got some footage of me, some footage of Zach Sabbath. And then, half the people were going, why are they showing Nita? Just show the band. And then the other half are going, why are they showing that band? I want to see Nita interact with her fans. It's like, sometimes you just can't win.
The people out there are so insane. Instead of just going, oh, thanks for putting this up.
This
like,
is
this
cool.
bullshit, man. Like they paid a ticket.
Yeah.
Man, this free content, man.
This
I'm fucking
free thing that I
furious
came
over this
across
free
on my
shit.
Facebook. Like,
If this wasn't on, I'd just be sitting in my house in Cleveland right now doing nothing. Fuck these guys. It's crazy.
exactly. How dare you? Just
Complaining
show,
I'm free.
Yeah, just show Nita. Just show Zach. It's like, why don't you just change the channel, man? But don't change the channel. Give me the views.
Yeah. Yeah. It's insane. People are crazy.
I guess it's better for us to have them there and complaining than
Yeah.
not
Well,
have
that's
them
what
there.
they say. In order to be big, you got to have 50% of people hate you and 50 like you.
There you
And
go.
then they're talking and battling, and it just keeps you out there all the time.
There you go. It keeps the Facebook algorithm flowing.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for doing the
Thanks.
show again.
Thanks,
And looking forward to hearing the record. And go out and see her with Alice Cooper this summer. And look for their band, We Start Wars. I'm sure you'll be playing at NAMM next year.
That's
you
the
know?
plan.
Yeah, right. There
Yeah.
you go. And thanks for tuning in, guys. Don't forget to follow her and say hi to her on Instagram and Twitter and Facebook. See you guys.